Hello everyone, welcome back to Crypto Gains for another video. And in this video, I am going to be taking you through that powerful chart that I have been keeping on your radars for the longest time. Make sure you are ready and prepared to hear what I'm about to hear, because this is going to be interesting. If this sounds interesting to you anyway, please drop that like. Give me a subscribe if you're new watching, and I am going to dive into this. But before I do so, I need to let you know I'm not a financial advisor. These are just my own personal opinions on the market, so please always do your own research before investing any money. That being said, if you have been watching my channel, I've been throwing these videos out to you every other week or every week just to keep you up to date on the market. And this chart here is powerful. And I need to discuss a few things with you, and I want to break it down, make it super simple, super clean, so you can all understand what's going on. There's a lot of you that have been wondering when the top of the market is. And I'm going to take you through these indicators, and I'm going to take these two off for a second, because the one I really want to focus on is this one called the Pi cycle. In the past, the Pi cycle has been very accurate in calling the market tops, and you can see it in the past here, right back from 2013. There was two type of cycles we had a higher one here, and it came down and it went high again, and it called the top of the market spot on. Same with this one here. It's just printed a new market top for 2021. Now there's a few things to discuss with this ticker or this indicator, because I think, and again, not investment advice on this, but just from looking at this indicator, I think whoever created this indicator must have created it recently, meaning 2017, maybe just a bit before, and they've set up the algorithm so it works in coordinate with these prior highs. Because when you add the extra indicators which I'm about to show you, you can see that something doesn't add up right. It doesn't feel like we are at an all-time high for this cycle. So let's really break it down. For those who are new watching, that's come to my channel, never seen this Pi cycle before, it's powerful. Basically, every time we see the orange line cross above the red line, it creates a market top, or it decides that this for the Pi cycle is deemed a market top. And you can see it happen here. It prints a big purple line straight down, and then we see some writing in a nice red square here saying Pi cycle confirming the top. Like I said, 2017, it was accurate, and I believe whoever made this indicator had done it back in 2017. And obviously it worked for the past going back as well, as you can see in 2015 and 2013 and all these other highs that we had. Where is it? Just here, 2013. Here and here, you can see it's been spot on. Every time the orange crosses across the red, goes above it, you see? But let's take a look again, because I don't think that this is going to be the top. And I'm going to explain my reasons why, because as you see here, we've just had a crossing in just now, and it's just printed the all-time high. Most people, it's actually saying most people should start to consider to sell. But when it comes to indicators like this, I have to take another few things on board. I have to look at many indicators, because I can't just go with one indicator. I have to decide by looking at multiple indicators. I've just turned on two other indicators. I have the investor tool, the Bitcoin investor tool, which I'm flicking on and off. You can see it here. And I have the 200-week heat map. You can see this in two forms. I'm showing it down here, so it's underneath like this, like a line, but you can also get it like this. Oh, let me grab it up. Like this. Here we go. Let's just load in. Like this. Now this has also been good calling the tops as well, the heat map, because when it's ever been at the red, you can always see it's at the highest point of the market. As you can see here, 2021, we're only in yellow, which means, you know, we still have more room for the heat map to turn red and go higher. So I take this into consideration. This is one indicator of many, right? So, you know, I also look at the Bitcoin investor tool, because for me, and again, I'll show you the Bitcoin investor tool, turn it on and off. Every time Bitcoin has had an all-time high, it's broke out of this red marker here. See this here? And we haven't broke out of it yet. And as you see in the past all-time highs, we can see that Bitcoin broke out of this red investor tool. And when it broke out of this line here, it shot up really fast, really high, and it happened quick, and we saw the top of the cycle. And this can be seen in the past ones as well. You see here, it broke out of the red line, it shot up and went right above it, printed a new all-time high. It hasn't done that for, obviously you can see here, it's not going further back because I guess this was the time when it was created. Same with the heat map. This must have been when it was created on TradingView, right? So, and you can, sorry, the investor tool, heat maps here, you can see it here, it must have been when it was created. But let's go forward having a look at this because, you know, like I said, the Pi cycle is saying that this is printed as the top of the market. But the Bitcoin investor tool is saying something different. We are nowhere near because we haven't broke out of this yet. And I'm still waiting for this to break out. Just like what I saw back here. And just like what I saw back in 2013 here. That's what I think we should be waiting for. Now again, this is not investment advice. If you want to take this as a chance to be taking profits, you're welcome to. Because this is what it's printing. But again, I have to look at all indicators. Let's take a look at the heat map, this one here. Like I said, it's the exact same thing as this, the heat map. You see it here? But it's actually placed underneath like a line. Whenever you've seen dark blue on this heat map, it's always been a good time to buy. And you can see back in 2017 when we had the big bear market and it fell down, I was sitting in Costas when this happened and it dropped right down below. This has always been a perfect time to buy crypto. It tells you the best time to buy and the best time to sell, really. Because if you look back a bit, back at the all-time high, when it was the last all-time high, the Pi cycle printed it. We had the crossing with the orange and the yellow, and then it broke out of the red here. See, the red investor tool. And down here you can see it was just red. Every single piece of this was red. Let's move forward as to where we are today, because like I said, when it's gone blue, perfect time to buy. You see down here, blue, dark blue, perfect time to buy. As time's gone on, we've gone a bit of green, we've had a bit of yellow. I've been waiting for that red. We haven't seen that red yet. So for me, because I have not seen that red, regardless of what this Pi cycle is saying, I have to believe that there's going to be some more room for Bitcoin to grow. And, you know, again, I'm going to be waiting for it to really break out of this red line of the Bitcoin investor tool, because I believe that that's when we're really going to see Bitcoin reach its highs. And let's just take a look again at what happened with the last the last breakout for Bitcoin off the investor tool, right? I'll turn the Pi cycle off so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. These two lines here. The Bitcoin investor tool is powerful because, again, it also shows a good time to be selling your coins and a perfect time to be buying. I'll break that down with you real quick if you're new watching so you can understand. When the Bitcoin investor tool, the red line, when Bitcoin breaks above it, this is the time you should be selling, perfect time to sell. The only time I've ever seen the Bitcoin price go back into the, so if you have a look here, right, get my words twisted. When Bitcoin breaks up, the only time I've ever seen it break back down is when it's come down, ready for the bear market. I've never seen it break up and down any other time. Obviously, here you have a bit of consolidation, but a lot of times it's sort of bounced off of it, rejected, come through, rejected, and then obviously it's broke up. So here, it broke out of it, went straight up, broke it back into it, came straight down for the bear market. When you see the green line, this represents a perfect time to be buying. If the Bitcoin price is anywhere below the green line, perfect time to be buying. All of this space here, perfect time to be buying. And you can see it happen here as well when we saw the dump back in March, right below the green line, perfect time to be buying. It even went lower than this heat map as well, which I'm not sure if it's going to be significant going forward. We'll soon see as time goes on, but this is a perfect time to be buying when the price is below the green investor tool. Right now, I'm waiting for it to break above. We still have some room. Let me just check how much room we have. You know, if Bitcoin was to do let me do it this way so we can see just here. From here to here is where I'm measuring. That's another 27% increase in Bitcoin. I believe that we will see this. And, you know, when it does break it, I think we're going to see an explosion in the price really fast, really, really quick. And, you know, just to show you what kind of prices we could potentially be seeing, this is the part that shocks me the most because, you know, when I look back at the past, when it broke out, let's just have a look right here is when it broke out in the past. And again, I'm just doing this so we can see the blue, right? So I'm just looking from here to here. When it broke out from here to here, we saw a rise of 164% in Bitcoin's price. And just to go back on the last cycle, you see when it broke out, the last time I ever saw it come back in, look, you can see it held support, and then it broke back in, then we saw the bear market, right? Let's just have a look at how much it went up in percentage from here to here. I want to stretch it so I can actually see better. Here we go. So from here to here, we saw a 392% rise after the time it broke out of the red Bitcoin investor tool line. Now I can use that as a guide. Like I said, between 190 something to 390 something, that is my guide. I can use that and say, well, maybe when the Bitcoin investors, here we go, 119. When the Bitcoin price breaks out, I'm expecting it to do roughly 119% pump. If that's the case, and it can go anywhere up to 390, right? But if it was to do 190% pump, we could potentially see Bitcoin go as high as right here, 160,000 price for Bitcoin. It's crazy. It sounds mad. It sounds crazy. I know, but I need to put this on so you can see it, so it's on your radar. Right here, let's just draw a line somewhere around here. We could see a potential price of roughly 160. Is that right? $160,908. When that happens, that for me, I believe that would be the true market cycle top. But again, that's just a rough estimate because no one can tell time. We have to take into consideration other things, indicators, like the Bitcoin logarithmic growth curves. This is another powerful chart that also can tell us what's going on in the space. And as you can see here, it's always been able to call the tops perfectly spot on in this logarithmic growth curves. And if you can have a look here where we are now recently, I'm actually going to zoom this in so you can get a better picture of this, and you can actually compare it to what we did last year, or sorry, the last hype cycle to what we did now. You can see that there's actually a lot more room for this to grow. Again, Bitcoin, a lot more room for this to grow right up all the way up here. And when we do see this, it kind of also, because if this is the £100,000 mark, sorry, $100,000 mark here, and the highest is sort of around here, it kind of sort of almost reaches what I'm saying in the highs of what we could see, anywhere from 119,000, 160,000, something like that. This is saying 115,000 if it was to get to the top around about here. Let me just have a little look. $113,000. Anywhere between there is a good estimate as to what we should use to, trying to reach our highs. So, 113,000 would probably put it around here, something like this, something here. Trying to draw a line. Something there, 113,000, something around there. But I'm just gonna stick with this line here and use that as an all-time high as to how high we could potentially see Bitcoin go. It may go higher, but that's something I'm going to be keeping an eye on. We have to take into consideration other things like the heat map. We have to take into consideration the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index. This shows when people are buying and people are selling. Right now, people are greedy and they're still buying, but there's still room here for people to be more greedy. And I think that when this goes up really, really high to like in the 90s, that's when we may see a lot of euphoria in the stage. There's a lot of euphoric action going on. Let me just show you the Wall Street. I should have brought this up as well. Wall Street cheat sheet, because it's also significant to how cycles work. Very cyclical. I just want to open this up in a entirely fresh page. Hold on a minute. Open. Was it copy image? Open image in a new tab. Here we go. Now, when you look at this chart, it looks eerily similar to what we've seen in the past. You see this right at the top here, euphoria stage. That's the stage that I'm waiting for, where people have been constantly buying. It's just shocking. Your little brother could buy, your next door neighbor could buy it, and everybody makes money. That's that phase right there. And we usually see this as a repeating cycle every 4 to 5 years, something like that, or 3 to 4 years, something like that. And I'm looking at this chart here, right? And you can see how eerily similar it looked. Get my words out. How eerily similar it looked in the past. We had this rise up here, and then we had the fall down, and then we had here. And again, if you look at the chart here, we had a rise, and then we had a nice little fall down, and it corrected, and then you saw a cycle happen again, right? Just like what we've seen here. It's becoming up and rising again, and I believe we're going to see a fall again. It's just the standard cycle that we go through. So, pay attention to the Wall Street cheat sheet. I think it can guide you on your journey. You can decide where you think we are in this stage. I think we're coming up to thrill euphoria. I think we're around here somewhere. That's me personally, but where do you think? And as time goes on, we will see other prices for altcoins and things like that rise. Another thing to check out is this, the altcoin season index. This also tells us when we are in an altcoin season. As you can see, we're on 92. And, looking at this chart, in the last hype cycle 2017, all the altcoins were above 100% and it stuck there for a very long time. We are now at 92. I think there's a bit more room for altcoins to increase, and who knows, it could stay there for a while. This down here confirms, yes, we are in a altcoin season. So, when I look at the charts of Bitcoin here and I look at how much room there is to grow in relation to, the Bitcoin investor tool, I have to say to myself, okay, the pi cycle is drawed at the top for the market, but I think there's more room to grow. And I also like to look at one other thing here, which is the Bitcoin dominance. Let me find it right up here. Here we go, up here. Bitcoin dominance. It's sitting at 54%. The last time we saw a massive all-time high for the alt season was when it was at 34%, 35%. So actually, in a sense, this pi cycle could in some shape or form be correct. We may see a little pullback in. Look, here's one of two things that I think can happen. We may see a pullback in Bitcoin this month, and we could see prices of Bitcoin come lower. Because if you have a look at the Bitcoin dominance, it's saying that people are now starting to take money out of Bitcoin and pull it into another coin. If that's the case, then we could see Bitcoin come down, and then we could see altcoins start to rise. But let me just show you this chart before I go. This one here is the standard Bitcoin chart on the daily, and I've been drawing up this thing that looks like an ascending triangle. I think that's right. I think I've said that right. An ascending triangle, and it looks like this, where the bottom shows a curved angle coming up, and then the top has a line coming across. This is usually a bullish pattern. And I'll just show you here what an ascending triangle looks like. You can see the price starts to, get squashed in between, up and down, up and down. We're seeing price fluctuation, and then it usually breaks up out into the top. If this happens, we could see massive changes in this entire thing here, because we could be on our way to what I said before in Bitcoin breaking out. Now, the pi cycle has pinned to the top. It is saying that this is the top, but if this decides to go up, because let me show you what I think is going to happen with this chart right here, right? Sorry, I don't mean to change the pages too much. Like I said, the ascending triangle does this and it breaks out. Usually it's from the top to the bottom of this price action, and I can show you here as an example of what I would do. So I would go like this. I'll draw a line from here to here, and then I'll take it and then I would shimmy it above, and it would give us a rough estimate price as to what we could see. Let's just do this when it breaks out. If it breaks above, we could see prices of £83,000. Sorry, $83,000, right? And let me just show you how that would look on this pi cycle and this chart here. Because if it was to do that and it was to go to $83,000, $83,000 is roughly, let me just get it, roughly about here, right? That would break the yellow line. Sorry, that would break the red line. And let me just turn this pi cycle off so you can see. It would break the red line, and it would spark Bitcoin into this massive rally, which could then eventually lead to 160,000 or somewhere in between here. So this is something we should be paying attention to, because if 83,000 comes, we're going to see Bitcoin's price rise super fast, one or the other. And the thing is, no one can tell you time as to when it's going to happen. We can only show you what we see and work with what we see. But, if this breaks out and it does what I think it's going to do, we could see 83,000 roughly, and then I think it could explode even higher, cornering off the top of the market, and that would really, show how this cross happened with the pi cycle. And maybe this pi cycle may, because look at the space between here, like just between here alone, look at the space. Who's to say we might not get space like that above? The orange becomes above, the red is below, and there's a big gap in between, causing the price to go up really high. That's what could happen. So, that's what I'm paying attention to. If you are a patron of mine, you saw this first. And I try to be serious on these videos because we talk about the market, and I really like to pay attention to the market analysis and stuff. You guys saw this first. I'm not the greatest when it comes to market analysis, but I'm good enough to know what I know. And I'm always showing my patrons first. So if you guys are new to my channel and you don't want to miss things like this, you're welcome to become a patron. I keep them prepared. So now they're prepared and they're ready to be prepared for what's to come. And we know what's going to happen, or what may happen, and we're prepared. I'm going to leave it here. just a little update on this. No mummy jokes. No granny jokes. Just pure, simple technical analysis on the market. If it was helpful to you, please drop that like. Give me a subscribe if you're new watching. I want to shout out to my patrons, but I've left my bloody phone upstairs. I do apologize. I'm sorry. But shout out to you all. I really appreciate you all for watching and being here and supporting me. Thank you so much. I will try to keep on top of it. This is what happens when I'm sitting down looking at the charts. I panic. I see it and I panic and I need to make a video quickly. I don't want to mess things up and miss the opportunities. So I panicked and did that. I'm going to be looking out for this red. When this goes red, for me, that's a good time to be selling. I'm going to be looking out for when the price of Bitcoin breaks above the Bitcoin investor tool. That's what I'm looking out for. And I'm keeping my eye on the Bitcoin price here. Like I said, when Bitcoin does something, usually the other coins tend to follow. So that's what I'm watching. Thanks for watching, guys. And I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Cheers.